Hello and welcome to our show, Environmental Breakdown, where we break down environmental news for you and collectively hope that this isn't the last week tonight. We are your hosts and I am Ishita.
And I am Shreya. Join us every fortnight as we deliver updates on environmental issues from climate change to environmental governance.
Whether you're a curious mind or a dedicated activist, we break it all down so you stay informed. Because let's face it, the planet is sending us some serious warning signals and it's time we started listening.
With that in mind, let's get into the latest headlines shaping our world and our environment this fortnight.
Global warming just took a creepy turn. 41,000-year-old viruses have been found in a Tibetan glacier. Global warming is leading to ancient pathogens thawing out.
Meanwhile, WWF India is kicking off the Vulture Count 2024. They are tracking these crucial sanitation workers of nature to see how they're faring.
South Korea's court just ruled their climate targets unconstitutional for not protecting future generations. That's a big win for environmental justice.
Back home, Maharashtra is jumping on the climate action bandwagon, directing 43 cities to create climate action plans, following a growing national trend.
In the world of tiger conservation, there's controversy brewing. Conservation groups in India are calling for the National Tiger Conservation Authority, or the NTCA, to withdraw their illegal orders of relocation of forest-dwelling communities from tiger reserves.
Namibia's got some serious controversy too. On August 29, they announced a plan to cull 723 wild animals, including 83 elephants, hippos, buffaloes, impalas, wildebeests, and zebras to feed its starving populations.
In Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, catastrophic flooding has hit hard, all thanks to a Bay of Bengal depression.
In more cosmic news, scientists have found a reservoir of liquid water deep in Martian rocks.
Typhoon Shanshan made a fierce landfall in southwestern Japan, leaving at least 6 dead and over 100 injured.
That's all for the news headlines. Now, we will move along to our feature story, but do stick around for some fascinating information at the end.
Massive fish kill in Periyar River. Loss suffered by 60 families.
Wait, am I hearing this right? Fish are rising up like killing?
Well, sort of. Fish are on the rise, but not to seek revenge. Their bodies are floating up in the water to reveal their unfortunate demise.
Oh, fish killed you mean?
Stick with us, it's about to get fishy.
A fish kill is when a large number of fish or other aquatic life suddenly die in a specific area over a short time.
Unlike natural deaths from age or injury, this happens suddenly, often caused by environmental factors.
I bet you have seen those photos of mass fish deaths on your social media feed.
You see, fish, like all other complex life forms, including your annoying cousin, needs oxygen to survive. But instead of breathing air, they rely on dissolved oxygen in water. That's why it's important to have an aeration device or a bubbler in your home aquarium.
That's exactly why fish are dying, because of lack of dissolved oxygen in the water. Right when those oxygen levels drop, it's like they're stuck in an airtight room with no windows.
Yeah, fish, the creatures who literally live in water, are dying from not being able to breathe.
And of course, not all fish are equal when it comes to surviving this aquatic Hunger Games. Native species tend to die off faster, while invasive species are like, amateurs.
Yeah, and it's not just a local problem. Fish kills are happening everywhere.
Also, we are not talking about a couple of dead goldfish. We are talking about thousands of fish dying at once.
So, according to the South Asia Network on Dams, Rivers and People, In 2023, southern India saw 18 major fish kills and North India also had exactly 18. Apparently it's a tie in the who killed more fish game. The West reported 12, the East had 9 and the Northeast faced 8 fish kills.
And these are just the reported cases. Many more likely went unnoticed or unreported.
Now let's take a swim through only some of the international fish murders. In Mexico, thousands of carp and catfish died due to drought and low oxygen. In Brazil, 10 to 20 tons of fish died from wastewater discharge. Greece, you ask? Floods killed 40 tons of fish. And in the UK, a sharp drop in oxygen wiped out hundreds of fish.
It's a fish megadon. It's real. So what's going on? And why does it feel like this problem is getting worse?
Let's try to understand this through a field of thought that is called systems thinking.
This theory looks at how different parts of a system are connected and affect each other. The system in question can be anything from a mechanical cycle to an aquatic system.
Within systems thinking comes the idea of feedback loops. You might intuitively understand this. Basically, it is a concept that describes how cause and effect are interrelated in a circular way. So one part of a system impacts another, creating a loop of cause and effect. For instance, warm water naturally holds less oxygen, but warm water also promotes algae growth, which further depletes dissolved oxygen. Add climate change-induced warming of surface water to the mix, and this natural cycle is on steroids.
Similarly, other activities may also act simultaneously in producing such fish kills. Pollution of either sewage or garbage or other industrial effluents directly lead to a decrease in the dissolved oxygen of water bodies.
For instance, in Brazil's Piracicaba River, where fish got an all-you-can-eat buffet of toxic wastewater, 10 to 20 tons of fish tapped out, and prosecutors described the event as a tragic environmental disaster.
It obviously matters what humans put into the water, not just what they take out. Farms and industrial sites, for example, can often leach fertilizer or waste into nearby lakes or rivers, leading to massive algal blooms that coat the water, all creating similar feedback loops, leading to more fish kills.
Another of the direct causes of such fish kills is chemical poisoning. In May this year, a mass fish kill in Kerala's Periyar River sparked a scandal more dramatic than most soap operas. Ammonia and sulfur in the water led to people pointing fingers at factories and protests erupted. Amidst this chaos, fish farmers were left counting their losses while the government scrambled to sort out this aquatic catastrophe.
It also happens in other countries with poor environmental safeguards. Like in March last year, for example, the Madagascan government granted the mining company Rio Tinto permission to release hundreds of millions of gallons of wastewater contaminated with acidic effluent and aluminium into the Mandro-Mondro-Motra River. Days later, thousands of dead fish washed up on the shores of connected lakes, devastating local communities that rely on fishing to survive.
As a consequence of all of this poisoned water because of chemicals, fertilizers, heavy metals, garbage and sewage, algae and other invasive plants have been thriving, leading to the continuation of the saga of fish murders.
In fact, there are some feedback loops that we haven't even talked about.
And over-extraction of water along with overfishing creates unhealthy ecosystems ripe for fish kills. Even religious rituals where large quantities of food are dumped into water result in the skewing of the properties of water bodies. This happened in April 2022 in a tank located in Mumbai's Malabar Hill area where 4 trucks of dead fish were found as a result of religious event pollution. Every year we also see images on the front pages of our newspapers of devotees bathing in waters filled with toxic foam. Such pollution is not uncommon.
Reports are even suggesting that hazardous forever chemicals were found in lakes in Chennai and that 81 Indian rivers and their tributaries have extremely high concentration of one or more heavy metals.
Because of all of this, studies have found that biodiversity in freshwater ecosystems are being lost at twice the rate than our oceans and forests. So if you are scared of deforestation, add one more variable to your bucket list of things you don't want to think about.
Mega fish or really large fish populations have crashed by 94%, and 1/3 of freshwater fish are under threat of extinction. In recent years, 70% of India's surface water has become unfit for consumption because of severe water body contamination.
And the future may not be so bright. A study published in August 2022 predicts a six-fold increase in the frequency of fish mass die-offs across the world by 2100. Okay, so fish are dying and our water bodies are turning either toxic or without oxygen. How does it matter, you ask?
As fish kills are unpredictable and our priorities are jumbled, their consequences have rarely been investigated. What we do know is that fish death can lead to cascading effects.
Fish kills disrupt entire ecosystems. Changes in fish populations throw food chains out of whack, affecting the balance of predator-prey relationships and resource availability. It's like Jenga. Remove one piece and the whole thing may collapse.
Their deaths also affect human food security, local economies, and livelihoods. Hundreds of millions of people depend on these fish for food and income, especially in vulnerable communities.
Now, fish aren't just dinner. They're vital for regulating ecosystems, nutrient cycling, and maintaining biodiversity. They're crucial for keeping everything running smoothly, whether we notice it or not.
Exactly. Fish play a huge role here with their migrations, moving nutrients across ecosystems, and boosting productivity.
Like how Alaska's salmon run bulk up bears for hibernation, while also delivering vital nutrients from oceans to riverside forests. It's a 2-for-1 deal that benefits the whole ecosystem.
Or think about how fish in the Amazon help spread seeds for floodplain trees. They're not just swimming around, they're actively shaping the forest ecosystem.
Scientists often use fish to see how the health of an ecosystem is. But fish aren't just important for humans. They have their own intrinsic value and legacy. Freshwater habitats are home to ancient species like lampreys, one of the last remaining jawless fish, which represent the earliest type of fish to have appeared on Earth over 530 million years ago.
And it is important that we recognize their legacy. How, you ask? By realizing that rivers and lakes aren't just glorified water pipes for our cities, industries, and farms.
Yeah, and policymakers, they just don't seem to get it. They treat our cities' water bodies as a means to an end. And in that, they are bringing about the end of our cities' lakes, aren't they?
Did you know that Bengaluru has a bit of a fish apocalypse going on? The National Green Tribunal has slapped some serious notices on the Municipal Corporation of Bangalore and pollution control boards after a whopping 61 fish kills in the city lakes since 2017. Why? Untreated sewage is flowing like toxic soup. These fishes couldn't stand a chance.
With no underground drainage systems at all, the water quality in some places is so bad that it is given the class E, which is basically the F of water grades.
Meanwhile, in Kochi, Kerala, due to the inaction of civic bodies, furious fish farmers marched to the Pollution Control Board, tossing dead fish into the compound to protest mass fish deaths in their farms.
Why? Because the Periyar River, thanks to unchecked industrial waste, has turned into a poisonous cocktail, wiping out fish in over 150 cage farms, with losses estimated to be in crores for farmers.
So listeners, what can we do to stop this aquatic apocalypse?
Right, so we can begin by internalizing that our rivers, lakes, and oceans are complex and intricately connected ecosystems. They are not just the means to our ends.
They are not just places to dump our effluents and extract water from. They are homes of thousands of non-human species.
And what's the magic recipe for cleaner water? Well, it's not exactly magic. It's called regulation,
wastewater treatment, solid waste management, and, you guessed it, laws to stop industries from turning rivers into toxic sludge.
We can also try incorporating marine ecosystem health in the planning of dams.
Yeah, instead of having the water bodies as an afterthought of a city's infrastructure, we should build our cities around its water bodies and decentralize their governance. Regularly monitoring the water quality and involving local stakeholders in the restoration of these aqua spaces is crucial.
Cleaning and aerating regulating these water bodies should then go hand in hand with our climate change efforts. We've got to reverse these feedback loops that are pushing the whole system towards self-destruction.
And how about a focus on native species for a change? Backed by science, of course. That way, we can build natural buffers that actually filter out pollutants.
And let's not forget more indirect efforts, like promoting greener agricultural practices with lesser chemical runoff. This would do wonders for our water quality. It's all connected.
Some such efforts are coming to fruition, like the floating islands in Kerala, where plants on floating mats act like green RO filters, soaking up heavy metals from the water.
Also, Bengaluru, which was once known as the city of lakes, has seen an influx of sewage in its lakes in the last 50 years. But despite this, and due to community-driven efforts, Kyalasannahalli Lake, among others, was brought back from the dead, and people are actually swimming in it now.
Sure, 60% of the city's sewage still runs into other lakes. But hey, let's not ruin the feel-good moment. Step by step, lake by lake, maybe, just maybe, we'll clean them all someday.
Here's hoping, because I'd rather see fish in the rivers than in the headlines. Welcome to our next segment, the Wheel of Revelations. Here's the deal. We spin the arrow and wherever it lands, we've got a surprise for you. Could be a joke, a riddle, a quirky fact, or something completely unexpected about the environment. So buckle up and hold on to those headphones as we give the wheel a spin.
And it landed on unexpected environmental news. Brace yourselves. A celebrity beluga whale named Vladimir was found dead off Norway's coast. Now, here's the kicker. Organizations are calling for a criminal investigation into his death. Why? There's compelling evidence that Vladimir may have been killed by gunshot wounds.
To understand why Vladimir might have been murdered, we need to talk about why he became a celebrity in the first place. Back in 2019, Vladimir rose to fame when people started speculating that he was a secret agent trained by the Russian military to gather intelligence. Yes, you heard that right. A spy whale.
And these suspicions weren't random either, because Vladimir was spotted in the Barents Sea, a hotspot of Cold War tension, wearing a harness equipped to mount a camera. And for your information, this isn't just any sea. It's the stronghold of Moscow's most powerful naval fleet, where Russia and the West are still playing a high-stakes game of submarine cat and mouse.
NOAH director Siri Martinson made a statement saying the injuries on the whale are alarming and of a nature that cannot rule out a criminal act. It's shocking. She added that it is crucial that the police get involved quickly. So folks, from celebrity to spy and now a potential crime victim, it seems Vladimir's story might not be over just yet.
If you want more information on these topics or you are curious about our research process, do sign up for our upcoming newsletter and visit our blog. If you have any queries or comments, please reach out to us at environmentalbreakdown2099@gmail.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Environmental Breakdown.
We'll be back in a fortnight with more stories. Because why stress alone when we can freak out together?